And good evening. Welcome back to London Bridge. When last we saw these individuals, I wouldn't necessarily call them heroes, though, they did good work. They saved lives. Lives that were dead. Oh, though, Rose, she did find somebody important. She found Draven's missing sire. Granted, he was missing most of his limbs and was just above conscious for a moment, but she helped him. She saved him. She bound him with her blood to save him so he could heal. If that's really why kindred do such things. Yes, it has amazing regenerative qualities, but it also has those darker, more sinister applications. But before we move on from them, let's return to a point slightly earlier in the evening, to a young Draven. He just came out of frenzy. There's a number of people dead. A lot of people dead. And he's alone. Alone in a room. Yes, Draven, you had frenzied. Remember, on the Hunters.
Oh, right. Jesus, that was forever ago. Um, Javen kind of shakes himself out of the frenzy and looks around, uh, quite confused, realizing that he's by himself, and kind of cocks his head. Uh, guys? Is anybody here?
You look around and you get listening and you get no response. There's the door you came in.
That's strange. He heads he heads back out through the door and toward the street.
Up the elevator.
Yes, up the elevator toward the street. Thank you.
Of course. And you come out, and as you're leaving the florist, a very well-dressed man is walking towards it. He's got a slight smirk on his face.
Draven notices him. Just kind of keeps his head down, tries not to say anything, and walks almost like he's trying to hide his hurriedness,
And where are you hurrying to?
just away from away from that florist.
Away from the forest in your gunhole-riddled clothes. Yes, that would probably be best. Where are you planning to go?
His let's see. I don't know how far away they are from his haven, but
It'd probably take you a couple hours to walk there.
let's see. Where would the nearest yeah, I guess he'd probably try to find the nearest place to purchase new clothing to get rid of the stuff that's been utterly destroyed.
Let's see. The proximity of the nearest clothing is most of the way to your house.
Well, he'd head in that direction anyway.
And in that
Well aware.
direction you head. And you're walking, walking. And eventually, an hour and 15, an hour and 20 minutes later, you get to the clothing store. It's a consignment store, actually, mostly vintage.
He looks rather pleased at the sight of vintage clothing and looks around to see if the store is open.
It is, though it closes in 20 minutes.
He realizes the time, kind of grumbles, knowing that he's not going to have enough time to really peruse and be his usual fashionista self, and just rushes in to grab clothing that fits and at least somewhat matches. And
Let's see, how well. High or low?
uh,
Am I the only one that didn't hear an answer?
sorry.
High? Yeah. You think you grab your set, this and this and this, and you think the colors go together. You put it on the counter, you pay for it. Then what do?
Um, check the time to see how much longer he has.
You have maybe long enough to use the changing room, if you ask nicely.
So he'll approach the clerk at the counter. Would you mind if I use your changing room?
Oh, you want to wear them out? Of course not. Please go ahead.
And he rushes in to get out of the clothes that he's wearing and change into the stuff that he bought.
And as you're putting things on, this isn't quite an ochre. It's a little too chartreusey for that. You know, and the green is, oh, it's not working the way you had hoped. They're just, it's off. It's unpleasantly so.
Um, should I roll? Should I roll anything? Just because it apparent from what I'm hearing, it sounds horrid.
Oh, it is turning out quite horrid. Though individually they are quite nice pieces. No, I don't think there's anything for you to roll.
Okay. Um, he looks at himself, just groans audibly, and just shakes his head. Whatever, I have to handle it. I'm going to deal with it. It's better than when I came in with. And he heads out. He walks out of the changing room, looks at this clerk with the most awkward, almost like trying to hide the horrified expression on his face, and just smiles and thank you and bolts out.
And she's giving you this very, he's wearing those together kind of looks as you make your way out of the place. Now we're off. Where are you off to?
He's gonna pause for now and try to call Rose.
Let's see, it's been that long. Rose was, where was she heading at the end of last time?
At the end of the session, uh, back to Draven's Haven with Jack and his sire.
Well, as you're heading back there, your phone rings.
Well, she's driving, so she's going to hand the phone over to Jack to answer.
Jack flips open the phone. Hello?
Hi, you have Rose's phone.
Yes, I stole it off her corpse.
Haha, very funny.
You can audibly hear Rose chuckle in the background.
Where'd everybody wind up? Last thing I remember is I don't really. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it.
Well, currently me and Rose are on her boat among the Black River.
Very funny, Jack. Absolutely hilarious. Where are you guys really?
You hear Rose say, "Who the fuck is that?"
Oh, it's the dressy Draven boy.
Oh, Draven. He finally decided to make an appearance. Where the fuck is he?
I'm not quite sure. He's too busy asking us where we are.
Well, we're the ones driving, so he better tell us where the fuck he is.
I'm pretty sure she was loud enough for you to hear.
He kind of chuckles. I'm on my way back to my haven.
Well, what a fucking coincidence.
Guessing you're heading in that direction.
Yeah, I'm gonna assume at this point Jack put it on speakerphone.
Yeah.
Uh, as a matter of fact, yes, we are.
Alright, good. And I'll meet you there. And he
All right then.
hangs
See
up
ya.
and heads onward.
Well, I guess we're meeting in there.
Jack throws the phone into the cup holder and leans back in his seat.
And Rose doesn't say anything else and finishes the drive to Draven's.
And you arrive at Draven's. The corpse in your trunk, back seat. Where did you put his body?
We put him in the trunk because, well, he's basically just a torso right now, so. With maybe a few limbs starting to grow back.
You pull up to Draven's. It takes you maybe 10-15 minutes. Are you gonna leave him in the trunk until you can figure out what to do with him? You gonna take him inside? You gonna hang him from a stake in the front yard? What?
Well, she's gonna look around and see if anyone can see what she's doing.
It's in between that being really late and really early time in the evening. So most people are either out or already home. So it's actually fairly quiet here, being a slightly more residential area.
Hey, Jack.
Yes, love?
Why don't you go upstairs and get a blanket so that I can bring this guy in. I don't want to leave him out here.
I suppose. He gets up and starts heading upstairs.
And you get upstairs, and did you have the keys to Draven's apartment?
I do not, but I begin looking under the mat to see if he left his spare key there.
There is a spare key under the mat.
He pulls the key out and unlocks the door, heading in. So he begins scrounging around in the scrounging around in the closets for an extra blanket and takes it down to Rose.
Rose then, as Jack hands her the blanket, she will wrap up Draven's sire in it and kind of tuck him under her arm, like it's a package of some sort or something, like trying to be as inconspicuous as possible, and quickly heads up the stairs to Draven's apartment.
You get upstairs, you get him inside. Where are you gonna dump his body? Bathtub, kitchen sink, what?
Well, since they're the only ones there, she's going to arrange him on the couch and try and make him comfortable.
He still seems to be mostly unconscious. It's at this point that you and Maximilian are going to be sharing that phone call, which ended our last session. You get off the phone. That pain and heartache tearing at you.
Jack would have heard everything, right?
Jack was too busy watching the news on TV.
Rose, she hangs up the phone after talking to Maximilian. She actually will go into the spare room where she had slept previously and shut the door, and she will just slump down on the floor and cry, almost uncontrollably sobbing, just letting out all of the pain, all of the anger that she had held all of these years, feeling sorry for that monster's daughter, wishing that she could have helped her. And she thinks that that was not the way that she wanted to tell Maximilian what happened to her. And Jack not seeming to hear it, she's going to have to tell the story again. But she'll wait for Draven before that happens.
And Draven. You finally make it home. About 40 minutes, 45 minutes later. You see Rose's car parked out front.
Draven kind of smiles to himself, glad that they made it to his apartment, and he figured they would have found this. He figures since they're not waiting around outside, they found the spare key. Yeah, heads up and heads inside.
As you head inside, you see two people sitting on the couch. One of them is Jack, and the other is very familiar to you. Intimately familiar. It's your sire. He's wrapped in a blanket, though.
Draven stops dead in his tracks as soon as his eyes land on Michael, and he's just absolutely stunned look on his face, like, what? And what? Like something isn't clicking in his head. He's just in an absolute state of shock that he's back, and it takes a minute before it sinks in that he's literally a torso just hanging out on the couch.
Well, he's wrapped in a blanket, so you don't quite see that he's just a torso. Yeah.
Well, that he's wrapped
when
up.
When you go up to hug him, you might realize that.
Can you believe this? They believe all these explosions are sewer gas. How stupid can people be?
Draven kind of shakes himself out of it, looks at the news. Well, shit.
I swear, can they not see shrapnel or something?
They're good at hiding things, I would guess. And he walks over to the couch, just still kind of out of it from the surprise that Michael's back, and goes to hug him, and realizes there are limbs missing.
Oh, hey, Draven. Didn't see you come in.
What? He pulls back with a very shocked look on his face, and then looks at Michael to see if he's conscious.
He seems to be kind of going in and out of consciousness.
He looks at Jack. What the shit is going on?
Well, I've been trying to have a good conversation with this guy, but seeing as how he can't even stay awake for a few seconds, it doesn't make much for commentary. I'm glad you're back, though.
Where are his limbs?
I am not quite sure. Probably back where we got him.
And where was that?
Back in that underground area thing. I think that's where Rose said he was.
You guys found him down there. Are you shitting me? He looks like this mixture of overjoyed and really pissed.
Jack kind of leans back. I don't know much about him. All I know is that Rose brought him out with us and stuffed him in the trunk.
I need to thank her profusely. He kind of he sits down in front of the couch where Michael is all bundled up and kind of rests his head well on if there is any leg grown back enough to rest it on. If there isn't, more like up against his where it would be.
And you rest your head on these almost noticeable stumps of what remains of his legs.
And Draven will kind of lose himself for a bit at that at this happiness that his sire is returned, and he's just like he's it's this happy shock. He's just kind of blissfully laying there.
And in the background, Jack's just yelling at the TV, trying to get people to understand that they're all morons.
You'll hear the door open to the guest room, and then you'll hear the bathroom door shut as Rose walks in there. And you'll hear water running as she's cleaning off her face from all of the blood, uh, as she just spent the last several minutes, however long it's been, crying and trying to collect her thoughts. And then after, I don't know, a minute or two, you'll hear the door open and you'll see Rose emerge from the bathroom and walk out to the living room.
He looks up at her with his eyes quite tearful and smiles probably the most genuinely she may have seen since the two of them met each other. Thank you. I owe you so much.
Oh, no, you don't owe me nothing. I was just glad that I was able to get him out of there alive. Um, that was horrible. They had cells, like prison cells. I guess the hunters kept them there.
That's terrible.
There was a man there who was cleaning up the
Cleaning up?
bodies, the bodies of the hunters. It was like said he was building an army.
That's odd.
So I realized who he was and got him out of there for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Sorry about the shape he's in.
Kind of uh, smiles that in that way that's like when you have no other it's almost involuntary, like you have no other response to give to facial expression to give, and shakes his head. This this state is nothing. The it's Everything will go back to the way it was. Just, I'm glad that he's still here.
Right. He was pretty bad off. I kept him from going into torpor, so I gave him some of my blood.
Well, Draven, well aware of what that entails, doesn't seem phased by it. He actually seems very grateful. He nods. Thank you.
She nods, and she's very somber about the whole thing, and possibly from other things as well. She just nods and sits down in a chair.
Draven doesn't really press her for information. He can tell by the look on her face that she looks at least shaken up by something, and figures it was something that happened when he was still not himself, and just kind of falls quiet. He's still taking in the whole situation.
And as the night putters out, Maximilian watches the sunrise, staying up until those last burning moments before he leaves her alone to die a slow, painful death.
Maximilian, you can feel it on his skin. You can feel it peeling, burning. And it's not like what you would experience from actual burn if you were kind. No, it's more akin to leaves being left to open flame before he has to close the door. He makes it down a few flights of stairs, trying to keep conscious sleep calling him. It's not till he gets to the base of the stairs outside of any line of sight before he slumps down. He trusts his sire to keep everything under wraps, but he's just too tired. Watching those moments where she began to burn as he did. There's something that really isn't discussed. It's when you're left to the sun, it might be more pleasant to actually be burnt to death. It's pain enough to force even Maximilian's in the fetal position before he goes into torpor, this sleep that takes kindred every day. Maybe sleep will take him away from that, only for a moment.
And that moment is all too brief as night again falls and the dead rise.
Yeah. Guess no one even bothered to pick him up when he finds himself kind of sprawled out on the stairwell. He feels his face. There's... Doesn't feel like anything's out of place. Gift of the venture, possibly. That of physical conviction. It stands and starts to walk back into the office. Probably far too early for him to invite Dejara. Right now he just needs calm, peace. His heart still hangs heavy with regret, but what could he do? He couldn't save her life even if he wanted to. And trying would only cost him his own. Max came to the conclusion a long time ago he's no hero. Just a man trying to get by. Some nights it feels like this entire world's gone insane. As he makes his way to the boardroom, he looks out from the window of the skyline. He looks at these towers that stretch on and upward like weeds growing from a soil bed of concrete and industry. He's gonna be around a while. The buildings will change, the streets will be moved, countries will be renamed, if that's even a concept by the end. I'll remember this night. Can only look at his own reflection in the glass with a heavy weight of disgust. But what's to be expected of a grandchild of a seneschal? To do his duty towards the Camarilla. Perhaps it's time to move on to other things. But not now. We still have a prince to declare. We still have a city to bring back under wraps, and why does it hurt so much? He takes the time to sit in a chair. This might be where Dejara sits. And looks out the window. Job's done. Anything left is just cleaned up. These hunters' spine has been broken. Their informant dead. Many of their hardware acquired. Such is the strength of the Camarilla, he supposes. and it cost him his soul.
The Camarilla, built on the strengths of its members, working together. Is it truly a greater good? Or is it merely for self-preservation? Who can really say? The greater good of kindred, mankind as a whole. Mayhaps the stories of that TV show, True Blood, ring true. Maybe knowing they exist would be easier, as long as you have an alternate source. But that's just happenstance and folly. Now is a time for staying quiet. And it's as you're sitting there contemplating, you hear the door to the room open, and several heavy footsteps walk up behind you. Firm hand rests on your shoulder.
Maximilian looks at the reflection in the window.
He sees his grandsire. A comforting look on his face, one of understanding, compassion. He gives your shoulder a slight squeeze.
Maximilian doesn't say anything. What could he say? Right? What could he say? Instead, he does what is expected of any venture worth his salt. Grit your teeth and bear it. You're supposed to be a pillar of this Camarilla. And before a seneschal, it's all he can do to keep himself from falling into grief. Tries to straighten up best he can, but he can't bring himself to look him in the eye. He just watches out the window, watching time pass.
You've done this city proud. Remember that. And he gives your shoulder one more squeeze before he turns to make his way out of the room, leaving Maximilian again alone.
Thank you. Alright. It's one of those things. Maximilian. He stands a bit. Checks his phone. Looks over it. Let's see, he's done. Flicks it open. Yeah, Jacobs. Yeah, I'm doing all right. Bullets only grazed. Yeah, just there's that block over on Hendricks. Yeah, think we're gonna need to hold that one off for a bit. Not in the budget right now. We need to end up moving one of the properties. I want that one that we were working on. Yeah, the one with the busted out window. We just gotta flip it and move it up. Think you can do that for me? Yeah. Look, just because I can't be on the job site doesn't mean I'm useless to you. I've been spending all day just cooking books. Yeah, I know I sound rough. That's, look, you get filled with $20 worth of lead. Shit's cheap, you know. You find yourself. Say how well you're standing. Right, that's what I thought, you fucking cockhead. Right. I'll get back to fucking work. Yeah, I'll drive by the job site. I'm capable of it. Give the boys my best. No, they did me proud. Yeah. Right. Jeffrey out of the hospital yet? He's still in the hospital. Right, well, you tell him he doesn't need to worry about feeding his family while he's off. Are you sure about that? Yes, the judge said that we don't have money. Look, I'll end up trying to find him. You want to end up helping him, but you help me flip his fucking house, and I'm sure that he's taken care of. Look, I know I don't have a coverage plan for you, look, and it's always the case. Kind of the problem, you know? But don't worry. I'll work things out. I always do. Hanging up the phone. He's gonna find some way to set this up. These past week has just been insane. It's just been fucking madness. It's just taking its toll on him. Just chipping away bit by bit. And right now he's starving. Needs the feed. Yeah. Flips up on the phone. Right, and yeah, figure out if joining you and the girls for a bit of a play date. Yeah. Look, I need to meet you out. Kind of licks his teeth. The concept. Right, I'll you give me the address, I'll be there. Yeah, of course I know where the fuck you live, but I'm not gonna end up sitting there watching fucking DVDs. I've got time to watch movies, spend time with people. If I wanted to catch a movie, I'd end up going to a theatre. I'm gonna see you, you fucking twit. Right. Alright, I'll see you soon. Closes his phone again. Looks up. Yeah. It's time to get some fucking feeding done before I do something rash. It's gotta be done.
And with that, Maximilian heads off to meet one of his close individuals that he knows he can regularly feed from. Meanwhile, elsewhere in the city, Rose, Draven, and Jack are having their own night in.
Rose wakes up. Um, she goes out to check on the other two and see how they're doing.
The moment you step into the living room, you see Jack splayed out on the couch, a little bit of drool hanging from the corner of his mouth as he snores a bit.
Draven is fallen asleep, curled up right where he had been sitting, just kind of still up against his sire.
Hey, Draven.
He kind of stirs and. Mm, what?
Decided to sleep in a bit?
A bit. He stretches, yawns. Is it time to get up already?
Yeah, it is.
He gets up and kind of arches his back and stretches. Did you sleep all right?
Uh, had a few dreams, but nothing too bad. Uh, no more
That's,
than the usual, I guess.
that's good to hear.
And she'll sit down in the chair where she was seated the night before, waiting for Jack to wake up.
After about 10 minutes, his eyes kind of open slowly. Oh, I guess there's a party in my room. Rubs his eye.
Draven kind of smirks.
So who brought the prostitute?
Rose looks a tiny bit confused.
Draven just smirks and shakes his head. Oh god.
Jack looks at Rose. What? It's not a party without a prostitute.
Right. Well, she just kind of shakes her head.
Jack sits up. So, what's everyone doing out here already?
Was a hell of a night last night, wasn't it?
Suppose you could say that.
Suppose you could.
Yeah, suppose you could. Rose isn't too forthcoming with anything at this moment. She's still kind of reeling from the events of the previous night, with her going into frenzy and killing the priest and everything else, finding all of the cells with Kindred in them. But then a smile creeps across her face as she remembers the man that she met, Marcus Giovanni. She liked the fact that he spoke Italian, and he seemed quite charming. And it's where there that she'll pause for a moment, thinking about how she felt a little bit in his presence.
Draven will look up at her and kind of quirk a brow. Something on your mind?
Kind of startles her out of her daze that she was in. What? Oh, no. Well, kind of. I don't know.
Care to talk about it? He kind of smiles at her.
Well, I guess you could say I was intrigued by the man that I met.
Oh? This is another person I obviously missed out on meeting.
Yeah. Uh, his name Marcus. Marcus Giovanni.
Sounds interesting.
Quite. Quite interesting. I got his card. I'll probably be talking to him again. I want to know more about the others that were there.
Is that the guy with the death fetish that you were hitting on?
She just laughs. Uh, I wasn't hitting on him.
Funny, it seemed that way.
No, I think he was hitting on me. I wasn't hitting on him. No. She's obviously lying. You can tell it all over her face. Um, but she, was like, yeah, he seemed to have quite a death fetish, as you put it. He was raising the dead.
And I'm guessing that got you all hot and bothered or something?
No. No, I was intrigued by it, definitely. I didn't think what he was doing was necessarily right, but who am I to judge? He cleaned up a mess. But he spoke Italian. Don't run into a lot of folks who speak Italian around here.
Pesto and spaghetti every once in a while.
Yeah, those few words most people know, but anyway. Quiet, quiet night. Draven, where the fuck did you disappear to? You're muted if you're talking.
All I remember is, well, killing people. And then I was alone.
Maybe you weren't the only one to get hot and bothered, Rose.
Draven kind of glares at him like he is really not proud of what happened.
Yeah, you went into a frenzy.
I hope that never happens again.
It's no fun. I went to one too. But I remember everything I did in frenzy.
I remember it. I don't want to.
I know that feeling, but well, I did. Fuck, I deserved what I got.
He nods. And as he's nodding, he manages to look down at himself and grimaces. I really need to change.
Yeah, that doesn't really. Where'd you get those anyway?
Consignment store on my way back last night. I just needed to get
Oh,
rid of
that
bullet-ridden stuff.
explains it.
Yeah, and he gets up and walks into his bedroom to go find some more appealing clothing to wear.
And for appealing clothing, are you going more of the jockstrap thong or like a full outfit?
Wow. Full outfit, probably just the standard like muscle shirt and jeans.
Are you wearing that over your high heels and nylons?
No.
Don't forget his bra.
All joking aside, you get changed. You head back out in the living room. Jack
he
and
sits
Rose are still there. It's amazing. So is your sire, who's still sort of there.
So now that we're all done with the doom and gloom, how about we all go out and get some Bloody Marys?
That sounds wonderful.
Sure. Why not?
Great.
We're just gonna leave him there, though.
I'm pretty sure he can handle himself.
Draven kind of smirks a bit and nods. I'm sure he'll be fine. It'll take him some time to recover.
Yeah, but he's gonna need to feed in
We'll
order
bring him
to
back.
recover.
We'll bring him back a couple Marys.
Well, you
Jack's
do have that. You do have that fellow in the bathroom.
True. I should. He walks over. He walks over to the bathroom and opens the door, looking for his pet.
You see him. He looks rather tired, withdrawn slightly.
Kind of tilts his head and squats down. You okay?
He doesn't seem to respond.
Draven furrows his brow and uh God damn it, Wes. Holds out his hands.
Did you unbind him?
Yes.
Then he will reach out and take your hand.
Kind of pulls him closer. Kind of pats him on the back. You hungry? Is that what this is?
He doesn't really respond. You say hungry though, and he tilts his head to the side.
Draven thinks back for a minute and takes him a second, but he makes the sign for eat.
He doesn't seem to do anything. He's just sitting there with his head cocked to the side, exposing his neck.
Thinks about it for a second and kind of dawns on him. Oh. Well, you can do that for the guy who's out on the couch. He's probably going to need it in a little while.
He nods and gets up.
But do you need anything? Because I can't have a dead body in my apartment.
And he walks out of the bathroom.
Draven just kind of sighs and hangs his head. Can't say I didn't try. And gets up.
And the gentleman comes and sits in your lap, Jack. And tilts his head to the side, exposing his neck.
I kind of glanced down at him. Did you want to ride on my knee or something? Or
He just sits there with his neck exposed to you.
He's not for you, Jack.
I don't know. He seems to like me.
He does, but he's not for you. It's for Michael. As she glances over to him on the couch.
Fine. Kind of slides him off his lap and onto the couch beside him.
Draven kind of smirks and as he's walking out, realizes that Rose had corrected the man already and just pats him on the head. Yeah, I meant the guy in the blanket. Sorry.
And he kind of turns towards the guy in the blanket and just tilts his head to the side, and the guy in the blanket sits there mostly unconscious, not doing anything.
Draven kind of thinks for a minute.
Allow me. Jack pulls out his knife and makes a small cut on the guy's throat and puts a little blood on his finger and places it into Michael's mouth. That might kickstart his instincts.
And your finger gets bitten.
Yep, that definitely kickstarted that. So try to pull it out.
He got a fang through part of your finger.
Alright, I'm gonna try to force his mouth open with my other hand and pull my finger out.
Okay, roll me strength athletics.
Right, as soon as my mouth stops freaking out on me.
Two successes. Since you're trying to defend your finger, we'll let you be the winner. And you have pulled his mouth open enough to get your finger out.
Alright, buddy, and I put his mouth near the guy's neck.
And as you get his neck close to him and kind of start getting some blood into his mouth, he instinctively latches on and just starts drinking. A moment later, his arm pulls out of the blanket and grabs the person, pulling them closer. And you see the individual quickly paling.
If you want to use him again, you might want to stop him from draining him dry.
Draven reaches over to Michael to like almost between Michael and the I've forgotten what I named him, and tries to pull them apart.
Alright, roll me strength athletics.
1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, ouch.
He's holding on rather tightly.
Rose is going to attempt to pull Michael off of the guy. Seeing that Draven's not really being able to do much.
Per usual.
Strength roll, please. And it looks like not even Rose can pull him off. He is just death gripping this guy. And the person's skin begins to tighten around his bones.
I don't think we're getting that one back.
Javen kind of grumbles and gives it one more try, figuring he might not be able to, but it's always worth a shot.
As you're doing it, you do notice that his legs seem to be growing back. And his other arm? Maybe that's why he's starting to get a better and better grip on this guy? Yep, he is holding on.
Javen sighs, and looks to the his pet, and just kind of gives him one last pat on the head, knowing that he's not going to survive this.
Is it a lost cause? That's for you to decide.
Hmm.
I'm pretty
Well-
sure when his skin tightens up, that's pretty bad sign.
I think Draven's okay with it being a lost cause at this point.
Rose will just watch him finish and. Well, what we gonna do with the body?
Draven kind of sighs. Well, garbage bags, tear limb from limb, throw somewhere. I know it's crude, but it's the first thing.
What
that
the
came to
fuck
mind.
is wrong with you?
Everything under the sun? No, I don't know.
Bloody
it's the first thing that came to
fucking
mind.
hell.
We could always find some stray dogs.
That's worse. Oh god.
Well, whatever you do, leave me the fuck out of it.
He looks at the his now dead pet and shakes his head, trying to figure out what they can do to rid themselves of his body.
Yeah. Draven, you're not feeling so bad about it. You watched him die. You think it's better this way. It's less of an inconvenience for you. Not as nice as it was having food uh, on hand, you know. It really wasn't worth having him here. And now you just have to clean up after him anyways. Again.
Well, let's just get it over with then, shall we? Is Michael done feeding at this point? Has he released himself yet?
He seems to be sucking on a dry corpse.
Draven's gonna wait to see if he notices that the corpse is that it's just done. There's nothing left.
Eventually he kind of lets go and slumps back against the couch, and his eyes kind of start fluttering open as his brain begins engaging, having been on the verge of complete unconsciousness. But now that he's got blood, fresh blood, and you can see his arm has regrown, and his legs have both regrown, and he's looking much more like the Manly you've been in love with for the last 10 years.
Draven grins and kind of tilts his head. Welcome back.
Oh. How did I get back home?
With help. And he looks over at excuse me. He looks over at Rose and smiles.
He looks over at Rose himself. I remember you. You were in the cell, weren't you?
Rose nods and she says, I was. I pulled you out of there.
And he gets a big smile on his face. Thank you. I was pretty sure I was gonna die there.
Well, I made sure that didn't happen.
Jack kind of looks at Rose. Didn't that happen though?
What?
I thought he was dead, and then your boyfriend brought him back to life.
No.
Your boyfriend, who's that?
I don't have a boyfriend. Jack here is just being a shithead.
Oh, has he already become your fiance already?
I barely even know his name.
Who?
His name's Marcus Giovanni.
And he had to look of almost fear on his face. Wait. The Marcus Giovanni? You gotta be kidding me, right?
I know, right? I don't see what she sees in him.
What do you mean, the Marcus Giovanni?
Then he kind of puts his hand over his mouth while he's trying to think. How do I put this slightly? He's the one that they kind of ran out of the city 50 years ago because he contemplated raising an army to try and take control of the city.
What? Rose is just kind of dumbfounded, like, what?
Thankfully, he didn't get to any of the military troops anywhere, so he was forced out of the city. I hadn't heard that he was back.
Well, can you really blame him? I mean, you can't blame us all for our little faults.
It's far from little.
Well, he said that, well, we killed a bunch of hunters, and he was raising them. Said that they were gonna defend him.
Oh, God. He gave him an army. How many were there?
I don't know, a dozen or more.
There was a good pile of corpses in there when we first got there.
Oh, my God. We're in trouble. He may actually do it. There were only 12, you say?
At least. But I'd say no more than 18 or 20.
God, I remember the last time. He had like 5 or 10 just normal people off the street that he made into these. God, what was it that they called him? What they called them? Like Revenants or something like that. Revenants. That's the word. And they were putting a hurting on people. Ushad was very instrumental in stopping him, but we were thankful and lucky that the ones he had didn't have any military training or any weapons. But he now has an army of vampire hunting revenants. Think of them kind of like vampires that are all controlled by his force of will.
Rose, quick question. Wasn't one of those vampire hunters a vampire?
Yeah, but she was killed.
Would
That's-
she be able to be raised after final death?
No, after this one. No.
I mean, when you frenzied, wasn't he supposed to be a vampire or something?
No, he was not a vampire. His daughter was. Maximilian took her to his sire, and she was staked and left for the sun. There's no raising her.
That's hard.
But there were other kindred in those cells. There were piles of ash and blood, but there were others that weren't. I don't know what he could do with them. I don't know. But if this is true, it's not good. Not good at all. We may have a worse threat on our hands than just hunters.
That much is true.
And Rose pulls out her phone and calls Maximilian.
Maximilian is walking out of her home. Looks corners of his mouth still coppery and sweet. When he gets a hold of the phone, notices who it is. Right, love, what can I do for you?
I need to speak with you as soon as possible. I think we might have a bigger problem.
Right, like a bunch of sociopaths ain't they're large enough of a problem. Where the fuck do you want me?
Well, we're at Draven's. I don't know if you know where that is.
Of course I know where it is, you fucking bitch. I just been driving you there the first time. If I recall, I ended up leaving you with a goddamn gift. What, you end up going hungry already? Please don't tell me you tried to end up here and flushing his body down the toilet or something, drip dry him and end up here and burying the body in ass and thought you could flush some remains down the privy.
No, nothing like that.
Okay, right, I wouldn't put it past Jack, so I figured that was your worst problem.
Yeah, there's no telling what that fucker will do.
Right, okay. Give me half an hour.
Alright.
That's enough.
Alright, we'll be here. She hangs up the phone. Maximilian will be here in half an hour. So we best stay put so we can talk to him about this. Faden's gonna have to wait.
Yeah, this is a little more important.
And the time passes quickly as you wait here. The body on the couch, smelling as it lays there, dead.
Maximilian finally arrives. Gets out of his truck. Right now he's dressed in a good suit again. Feels good to be back in business. I'm back well dressed and well tailored. He ends up going. Approaches the door.
Draven gets up and opens the door.
Good evening, Mr. First. So I'm told that you might. The fuck is that smell?
That would be my love's fault. He looks over at Michael with a somewhat playful glare.
He steps inside and closes the door behind him. What is it he sees?
You see Rose in a chair, Jack sitting on a couch, next to a dead body, next to another individual.
Okay. Right. 2 questions. Who the fuck is that? And who the fuck is that?
Oh, that one lying there kind of stinking up the place, that's the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory you gave us.
Uh-huh. I end up understanding that, but why is he lying there?
Perhaps because he's dead. Dead can't usually
See,
stand unless...
I could see he's dead, you fucking nitwit. I can see that much. What I want to know is why the fuck is he dead?
Because he needed new arms and legs, is the point the guy in the blanket.
Okay, so why the fuck am I here?
I'm not quite sure. Rose, you want to fill him in?
Right. Well, I met someone, besides this fucker here. She points to Michael.
Oh, good for you. I wish you a happy relationship. Now, what the fuck does this have to do with me?
What do you know about Giovanni? Particularly a Marcus Giovanni.
Up to the GM. Do I know anything about Marcus Giovanni?
You've heard that he was exiled from the city, and that your grandsire was instrumental in the doing of that.
Right. You mean the lad who ended up getting his ass handed to him and shoved out of London? Yeah, what the fuck has this got to do with him? Will somebody get rid of that fucking body? God, it stinks in here!
Oh, something's gonna stink even worse when you hear this.
Draven walks over to Michael and whispers to him, asking him to take care of the body so they can all have their conversation.
And Michael kind of looks at him peculiarly and says, "Okay." Then he gets up and throws the body over his shoulder.
Guy?
That's Michael. That's Draven's sire. I found him in a cell, where the hunters were. There are other kindred in those cells, and that's where Marcus Giovanni is, and he raised the hunters. And Michael told us that apparently this Marcus Giovanni tried to take over the city 50 years ago or so with an army.
Okay, right. Well, that's just fucking me now.
So like I said, I think we got a bigger problem.
Oh, Rose, you keep leaving out the best part.
What?
Someone in this room has the hots for Giovanni.
Oh, God. I liked that he spoke Italian, alright? Shut up.
Should expect this from fucking Bruno.
Oh,
Alright.
fuck off.
Hey, sweetheart. Right now. Okay. Right.
Rose is absolutely glaring at Jack. Just the biggest. If looks could kill, Jack would be a pile of ash on the floor.
Right. It looks like there's some misplaced pent-up aggression, so I'll let you take it out on Sabot. Yeah, have some fun there. Don't kill him. Stay within the traditions. My favor to you, Jack. Driving. You take care of your sire and the body. That's not my problem. You want me to take care of it, yeah, I'm doing so. But right now, as far as I can tell, you still end up owing me deep. I don't think you want taking that any further. Unless you think you really can't handle it, in which case, alright, I'll end up getting right on top of it. Rose?
Yes.
By chance that you happen to drink any of this Giovanni's blood?
No.
Don't lie to me.
I'm not lying. I did not drink any of his blood, but I did get his phone number.
Oh, good. Yeah. Can you write that one down for me?
She hands Maximilian his business card.
Right, excellent. Glad to have known this. Right, cheerio.
What, so you're just gonna go?
Rose, I'm not sure you understand here. On the ground, I will do whatever here needs to be done. But I think I've proven over several nights that me being on the ground is not where you need me. Would you be in agreement with that?
Well, I suppose. What were we supposed to do?
Well, right now, I would imagine you'll end up getting shot at, butchered up, hacked apart, dragged through overall hell, mostly because you jumped the gun. But don't worry, the straggler was taken care of. So I'd suggest end up resting up because you're about to end up inviting hell when you end up here dealing with fucking Marcus Giovanni. He is unwelcome in this city. I ended up making this perfectly fucking clear. He is exiled from London, and now he just waltzed right on back. You can see on where there might be a problem with this.
I understand that. That's not what I was saying. I was saying you're just going to go and not tell us what we need to do.
I think I just told you, love.
You did. But... oh, never mind. Fine, go do what you need to do. We'll be here when you're ready for us.
Of course you will. And if everything works out, I might even be able to end up finding some way to end up making sure that you get further paid. This time it might even not be such a shit show. So...
that would be fucking appreciated, thank you. Because that was a right shit show that you gave us. You fucker.
I have no idea what it is. I have no idea what either one of you is insinuating. I'm offended.
Bullshit. Bullshit. And now that fucker's dead, I can say that again and again and again.
Well, it was just an exercise. It was just an exercise in cleaning up your language, love.
Didn't work. Didn't work. Didn't work one bit. You're not gonna get me to stop swearing. It's not gonna happen.
Big man, I have bigger things here to do right now. The day end up here poking around. Jack, you behave, because if I catch you otherwise, you and I both know where that road leads. And I really would hate to end up having to go down that because you're starting to get on my good side. is right now I don't feel the need to end up staking you and leaving you out for... And he stops in mid-train of thought. You know what I mean? You're getting there. You keep this up, maybe sometime in the next 2-3 decades, I might even be able to tolerate your existence.
Don't worry, teacher. I'll stay out of detention.
Why is it all of a sudden now I just feel like you just fed me the biggest load of bullshit that's ever been spoken of in this room?
No, he's been feeding bullshit all fucking night.
That may be, but that right there is the biggest steaming pile. And Mr. First, yeah, there should be a fucking expert on it. Now, if you excuse me, I've got some errands to run, and I need to end up making sure that you're all informed as to the situation.
Appreciate that. You know my
Right.
number.
We'll be here.
Better, you're my fucking escort.
Hmm.
And with that, Maximilian leaves the door.
And as soon as the door shuts after Maximilian leaves, Rose just turns around and punches Jack right in the fucking face. And I'm gonna... Should I roll for that?
Nah, just run with it.
Are you trying to inflict like harm upon him or just hit him?
No, she's just gonna fucking hit him just because she wants to.
Then we'll go with the theatrics of it. You hit him in the face.
Oops.
Jack
And
falls back onto the couch.
that's for all the shit you fucking talk, you bastard. And she sits down on the chair.
Draven looks like he's trying really hard not to laugh.
Somewhere in a truck just driving out, there's a smirk that creeps across the driver's face for some unknown reason.
Sorry, Rose. I just have a habit of giving information to the higher-ups. It's a bad habit, I know, but I just can't get rid of it.
You have a habit of being a sarcastic asshole. It's gonna get you beaten to a bloody fucking pulp.
I suppose it's better than becoming a pile of ash.
True, but only because it would break the sixth. And I've been instructed not to do that, so I'm not going to. Consider yourself lucky.
Well, now that all the doom and gloom is settled for tonight, about those Bloody Marys.
Yes, that would be lovely. And now that Michael has arms and legs again, I guess he can come with us.
Hack! You hear a loud hacking sound coming from the kitchen.
What the fuck was that?
I think Michael is cooking dinner.
Oh.
Rose gets up and walks into the kitchen to see what the fuck is going on.
You see Michael with the body laying on the butcher block and a large meat cleaver in his hand. It strikes down again at another joint, severing it.
Oh, for fuck's sake. What the fuck are you doing?
You said to get rid of it, and I didn't see anybody else coming up with any smart ideas.
Right. And Rose just turns around and walks out.
Draven kind of snickers and walks over to the kitchen and pokes his head around. Just grind it up, take it to the grocer. You know where it's at. They won't know.
I straight add it into the ground beef for tomorrow.
I take it you've done this before.
Haven't you heard that old story about the butcher grinding humans into his sausage and he couldn't serve enough for the people?
You know, I gotta interject in and out of character because there's just too many good ones. One, He's an artist with his meat. 2, you are what you eat.
That was great. That was brought to you by the great Derek. Anyway, so Rose just has this look of horror on her face at this, and well, I'm glad that I don't eat ground beef anymore. I prefer blood.
Come on, Rose. You've seen worse.
I have, but just because I've seen worse doesn't mean that this still doesn't. Yeah, whatever. Just do it. Get the fuck over. Get it over with so we can go.
Go without me. I'll take care of this, and we'll see you guys later.
You sure? So we can wait.
I'm probably gonna spend an hour or more doing this, and you'll be sitting here doing nothing. You may as well go out and eat. I'm actually pretty good right now.
Alright. I suppose we can do that. What about you two?
I'm up for anything at this point.
Draven nods.
Well, let's go then, as she heads out to her car.
Draven follows along behind and turns his head to look back in the kitchen, just shaking his head and grinning. You're horrible.
Hey, you liked it plenty when I was bringing bodies in and having it served back then.
I know.
My, aren't we kinky?
Same so. Well,
Then again, we're talking with the woman who's meeting with a necrophiliac.
right. Well, that's not going to go anywhere, is it? Because he's been exiled from the city for trying to take over, and yeah, nope. Don't want any part of that. Definitely not. Now, where the fuck are we going to go? Anyone? Don't be shy. Come on now.
Draven doesn't seem to have any ideas.
Oh, my connection seems to be going in and out. Can anyone hear me?
Sort
Yes.
of. You're kind of laggy. Alright, well, Rose is just gonna head for the nearest nightclub that is feeding friendly.
Man, you arrived at the nightclub a short while later. It seems to be quite busy, very busy tonight, in fact. It's bustling, hustling and bustling, and people are coming in and out, and you can hear the deep bass even outside. Almost feel it.
Rose steps out of the car and shows her ID at the door and heads on into this very packed nightclub.
And Rose has gone inside.
Draven pulls his ID out of his wallet, pulls his wallet out of his back pocket, and pulls out his ID and flashes it forehead again.
And they head inside. And inside you can hear the deep You can feel the bass definitely beating in your chest. The loud techno blaring over the speakers of the club. Dance floor is packed with people. You'd see hair colors of every imaginable shade and hue. Whole wide plethora of people.
Rose scans the dance floor, sees if she can pick out anyone that catches her eye. She sees someone, a man. He's kind of middle-aged, but good-looking. Maybe the tall, dark, and handsome type. What type of nightclub are we in?
A very techno gothy one. Probably one of the ones you regularly frequent.
Oh, yep, definitely. So, yep, the guy's dressed probably in leather. As she will, I'm gonna roll. What is it for dancing?
Dex performance.
Performance. So. Oh, yeah, she tries to be all sexy dancing up to this guy, but she just winds up probably doing some cheesy 70s dance moves. And the guy's probably not too impressed by it.
Actually, he's laughing. He thinks it's really cute, funny.
All right. She's surprised that he finds this rather endearing instead of horrifying. So she keeps dancing and hopes to grab his attention.
He's doesn't stay laughing at you long before he turns away. His interest drawn somewhere else, perhaps by a man or a woman elsewhere.
Rose is a bit discouraged and she kind of steps off the dance floor, seeing if the other two fare any better.
Draven's dancing about. What would I roll for dancing?
Dex performance.
Gonna say.
Then
Oh,
if
God.
you do not have performance, your difficulty is 7.
Holy shit.
You're dancing quite well. It has a nice beat. Maybe you can really get into that beat, that throbbing, pounding sensation. Maybe it reminds you of something you're more familiar with.
He's dancing about looking for someone. See, that would be perception alertness for looking
Yep.
around.
Yes, please. And what are you looking for?
Let's
Tall,
see.
dark, and handsome man?
Yeah, generic, I guess.
Okay, you see one, and
Zoo starts dancing toward the guy.
you start dancing towards the guy, and
Gauging his reaction.
you're dancing.
Gauging
He
his.
seems indifferent.
He seems indifferent. Damn it. Kind of thinks about it, wonders if there's anything else he can do to get his attention. Let's see. Um, Charisma performance.
Chatting him
Yeah.
up, sweet talking him.
He's gonna try and kind of use his looks while he's dancing about. So,
Current subterfuge then, please.
appearance subterfuge.
hmm
There.
If you're trying to use your looks,
All right. 1, 2, 3,
you got the moves. Do you have the looks to back it up?
4. No. Apparently not.
And he seems to be looking at you. There's something strange about you. Perhaps it's your keen fashion sense and style that sticks out. He's watching you, but it's with a quizzical eye rather than an I'm interested kind of eye.
Draven's just gonna kind of continue dancing toward him and uh, kind of try to talk over the music at least so he could hear him. You want to go get a drink?
Sure, man. Sounds good. What you got in mind?
Uh, Shit. He's gauging their reaction. He's gonna kind of use this to gauge his reaction. I don't know, maybe something down south.
Oh, I see. Now you're talking my language, boy. Just so you know, though, I'm purely a pitcher.
Oh, okay. I can work with that.
Do you have the stamina for it? I know I do. As he sits staring at you.
I think I do.
All right. He reaches out and takes your hand. Damn, boy, you're cold.
I don't know. I've just always been this way.
Well, hopefully you're nice and warm on the inside, because that always makes it so much better.
I'm gonna have to dump. I'm gonna have to dump a blood point into Blush Health.
All right, you put a point of blood into Blush of Health. And he leads you to the bathroom. And as you're walking in, he's taking you to one of the bigger handicap stalls in the back. You do notice in some of the stalls that are open that there's holes in the back of the wall.
Draven kind of quirks a brow, cocks his head. Um, glory holes or people watching?
I don't know. You want to ask? You want to go find out?
He kind of thinks about it for a minute, grins and shakes his head. Nah, I think I'm good. He just kind of he kind of thinks to himself he's gonna kind of watch to see if anyone's looking or if anything quote unquote mysteriously appears through one of the holes.
And he gets in there with you, and he closes the door to the stall. He says, "All right, turn around and drop him."
He looks over it. He he feigns insult And it's like, well, you're not gonna let me prime you first. That's not very nice.
Oh, I was well primed out on the dance floor.
And kind of huffs. Fine. She turns around, drops him, just kind of almost impatiently, because he was hoping to get some of his own.
And you're sitting there as he goes to town. Let's see, some of the phrases would be reaming you a new one, plowing the field, packing your shit, those sorts of things. And as you're staring, you notice that there's also one of these holes. And there is eyes occasionally peeking in, watching you.
Draven looks over at one of the holes watching and grins, kind of tilts his head back toward the guy who's currently getting quite busy, and
And he is
smirk.
going and going and going.
He smirks. Mind if I get some while you get yours?
No, you can masturbate if you need.
He grins, looks over at the wall. If you're that interested, might as well stick one through then, boys.
You hear the giggles of women.
He kind of rolls his eyes and laughs. Oh, that's how it is, huh?
And eventually, maybe 10 minutes later, he finally finishes. I like you, and he slaps you on the ass.
He grins, turns around. Well, if you don't mind, he kind of opens his arms almost like for an embrace.
And he zips up his pants and pats you on the cheek. You're a cute kid. And he turns and starts walking out.
Chafin kind of huffs and tries to think of how he can turn the situation around, and it only takes him a split second. You know what? Screw it. And he tries to. He's gonna try and jump on this guy's back to get what he came for.
Strength roll, please.
1, 2, 3, 4. Ah, there we go. Oh God, why? Oh Jesus!
And you jump at him. And you land on the wall between the different stall, between this stall and the next stall, as he opens the door and says, "Dude, chill out. You're fine." And he pulls the door closed behind him as he walks on out.
Javen grumbles. God damn it. I'll find another one.
Meanwhile, Jack, did you come inside, or are you going outside looking for a prostitute?
I'm going inside. Don't need too much suspicion.
You go inside, and you see Rose milling about the tables and bar area. You don't see Draven anywhere.
Alright. I'm going to use the aura part of my Auspex and look for an aura that seems kind of maybe like a shy mood or something.
Let's see. You don't see anybody. Tonight seems to be, maybe there's so many extroverts that it's overlapping and just blotting out anyone who might be feeling shy. Too many people are here happy energized, energetic. It's too much to find somebody who's feeling shy.
Alright then, turning that off, I look around and see if I can find anyone that's alone.
Perception awareness, please.
Computer, this is not the time to freak out on me.
Freak out. Oh, freak out. And that is a lot of dice. And we have you find somebody who is alone. Quite definitely alone. Like very alone.
Alright. I'm guessing they're sitting at a table or something.
Mhm.
Alright, I'm gonna approach and sit down next to them. Quite busy tonight, isn't it?
She kind of looks at you a little startled. Yeah, a little bit.
Something the matter? Why aren't you out there enjoying yourself?
Oh, my friends are supposed to be here soon, but they're running late, as usual.
You can't really call them friends if they're just gonna abandon you in some kind of club. Especially with all the perverts here.
Perverts. They're not perverts. What makes you think they're perverts?
Just look at them all. You can tell that they're just anxious to get out of their clothes and into someone else.
Dude, you're the pervert.
I suppose. But I'm just here to enjoy myself for now.
Okay, well, can you go do that somewhere else? You're kind of creeping me out.
Sorry about that. However, if you are feeling a little bit lonely, I'd be happy to have a dance with you.
That's okay, I'll just wait for my friends. Thanks.
He stands up. No reason to be too shy, love. So I walk off. And at this point, I'm going to activate my dementia and give her that. What's it called? The one where it gives them a bunch of illusions and stuff.
Hunting.
Yes, that's it.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to roll your hunting then, please. And I don't have my, let's see, do I have that book downloaded on my new computer?
Okay, you want the haunting? Here we go.
So I know there's a roll required.
Yeah, I know.
No worries.
Difficulty 7.
Oh yeah, there's a roll. There's a roll required.
I was trying to
But
pull
here's
it
the
up.
thing, haunting. You have it is manipulation plus subterfuge. Difficulty is the victim's perception and self-control.
Oh, perception and self-control.
Let's see, manipulation
Okay.
and subterfuge.
Manipulation, subterfuge. 1 success is 1 night, 2 successes 2 nights, 3 successes 1 week, 4 successes 1 month, 5 success 3 months, 6 plus 1 year.
You got 2 successes.
So 2 nights.
And which sense are you going to pick for her to experience this through?
I'm going to do it through her sense of touch.
Sense of touch. You walk away and she's left to herself.
And I am just going to begin dancing and watching her occasionally.
You see her occasionally looking like as if she's like people are touching her, but it doesn't seem like anybody's close enough to actually touch her, and she kind of ruffles her hair like, and then swats at it like she feels something moving in it. And she looks to be getting really kind of creeped out Or freaked out, maybe?
I let her suffer for a few more minutes.
And she gets up and leaves.
I'm going to use my obfuscate and follow her.
You have level 2 obfuscate?
Yes.
Okay. Just so you know, you will be touched quite regularly and it will be broken, making your way out of the dance crowd and out of the club because it is very packed in here tonight.
I'll wait to leave until I leave the club before I activate it.
Okay. You leave the club and you see her a little ways down the street getting into her car.
I'm gonna rush over and try to get on the back of her car without her noticing.
Okay. The wrong die. I didn't want that die. Thank you. Let's see. She was staring in her rearview mirror like, what the hell? And she's like glancing back at the car parked behind her. She's looking around, checking her mirrors before she starts up her car and begins driving with you on the back. And she actually pulls out rather quickly, so to hang on to this car, you're going to need to roll strength athletics.
Ah, damn it.
And you are thrown fairly early on as she leaves.
Alright. Oh, that's a failure on my part. And I'm just gonna head back to the club since there's no way I'm gonna be able to track her down now.
Okay. Rose, you've been hunting.
She is going to try and find a woman at the bar.
And you find one. Pretty little brunette.
Rose smiles and walks up to her and kind of just plants herself down next to her. She looks over. Does she look alone, like she's just maybe sitting there with her drink, or is she talking to other people?
She is alone with her drink.
She looks over at her and, can I get you another one of those?
And she turns at you, slight smile on her face. I love you can.
All right. What you drinking?
Whiskey sour.
And she looks at the bartender. A whiskey sour, please.
And a short time later, he slides you over a whiskey sour.
And she hands it over to the woman. What's your name?
Alicia, and yours.
Rose.
That's a beautiful name for a beautiful woman.
Rose smiles and, yours is beautiful as well.
Well, thank you. I'm glad you like it.
So, why aren't you out there dancing?
There was this fella out there, kept bumping into me. I got tired of it, so I figured I'd come have a drink, cool off some.
Yeah, it is quite packed out there tonight.
I much prefer a more intimate setting myself.
Me too. Would you like to come sit in a booth with me?
Well, I suppose I could go that way for a bit.
Rose smiles and leads the woman, Alicia, over to a. Can she find an empty booth at, like, in the corner of a club that's, maybe out of the way?
There's one that's somewhat out of the way.
She'll take it.
You sit down at the booth with Alicia.
Sounds like you're from Ireland.
Aye. What gave it away?
Oh, that beautiful accent of yours.
Oh, I hadn't even noticed I had an accent. Funny, I might mention that, and she just kind of winks at you.
Rose smiles and winks back. So what brings you here?
Trying to relax after studies.
So you're here for university.
Aye.
Very good. How's that going?
Slow. I hate how long it takes for classes sometimes. I just want to get it done with. I want to start acting on the stage.
Ah, got some ambitions. Very good. And Rose leans in and she tries to gauge how receptive this woman might be if she moves closer to her.
She doesn't seem to be shying away. She kind of leans in towards you a little bit. Maybe she's wanting to hear you better. Who knows?
Rose will take this opportunity to start kissing on this woman's neck and caresses her body as she does so. And after doing this for a couple of moments and the woman hasn't thrown her off, she will then click out her fangs and sink them into her neck. And she will take 2 blood points, savoring the blood with the ecstasy of the kiss.
And you do this, and you take your blood, and people are milling about somewhat nearby, but nobody seems to think you're doing more than necking, so to speak.
She finishes and licks the wounds closed, clicks her fangs back in, and before leaning back, licks her lips, making sure that there are no traces of blood. And she leans back and looks into Alicia's eyes and gives her a long, passionate kiss.
And she's very much dazed and a bit out of it, but she seems to smile as you're kissing her, and she weakly reaches up and caresses your face as you do so.
Rose smiles. She pulls a napkin and a pen out of her purse that she has with her and writes her phone number down and hands it to her. Call me. I'd like to see you again.
And she just smiles at you. I like that too, though.
Rose leaves the booth satisfied and goes to she goes and sits back down up at the bar, watching to see how the others are doing.
Draven,
Draven is looking for another person. Let's see.
there's lots of people. You find them.
Draven is looking for someone who's more willing to take than give. Someone maybe his size or smaller.
Okay.
Pretty boyish.
So the pretty boy wants a pretty boy. Okay. Roll perception alertness, please.
Is it 5? Yes. Okay. Wow. Fail. Oh my god.
You're not finding any.
He grumbles and just sighs and walks over to the bar almost dejectedly and just sits there hoping maybe somebody will notice him instead of the other way around.
Nobody seems to come up to him. Rose does come up towards the bar and takes a seat on another empty stool, though.
Draven, seeming rather frustrated with his current situation and the fact that he's actually quite hungry, is going to try again and search for someone. And do just as miserably.
Rose looks over at Draven, seeing that he looks a bit dejected. Are you having trouble?
More than a little, I'm afraid.
Would you like some help?
I would much appreciate that.
What you looking for? Maybe I can find one.
Anybody who doesn't mind me getting them off.
Well, that's probably a lot in here.
Well, preferably
do-
one who would rather give than take. That'll make it easier.
Yeah, it will. I'm assuming that you'd probably prefer a boy, right?
Prefer, but I'm willing to bend my tastes if I need to.
Rose scans the crowd. And she finds someone for Draven. She will go up to him and she'll say, Hey, I have a friend over here. He's having quite a bad night. Do you think maybe you could help?
Like, what kind of bad night? Like, a bad trip or something? Or what?
No, nothing like that. He's just feeling a little bit lonely, if you catch me.
Lonely, right, totally. Yeah, I can come help him.
Thank you. Much appreciated. And she leads him over to Draven.
And Draven is going to attempt to give his best performance of absolute sullen loneliness.
Hey, man, I hear you're feeling a bit lonely tonight.
He looks over at the man that Rose has so generously brought over and pouts and nods. It's not fair.
Well, it's not fair.
I don't have anyone to be here with. Well, except my bestie. And he grins over at Rose like, please play along, don't say anything.
Man, besties are the best, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm his fag hag.
Oh my god, really? She
Totally.
I'm here with my bestie. Oh, there he is over there. He's the one that likes to really give, man. He's got a cock on him. And he's pointing at the guy you had sex with a little while ago.
Draven kind of shivers a little. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, do you know him?
In passing, he looks like he's having a hard time keeping a straight face.
You know, if you want, I can invite him over and we can have, like, go and smoke some outside if you want.
No, how about let's just have it be the two of us. And he gets up and takes his hand with a wink.
Right, yeah, we can go smoke on our own. It's in my car anyways, so.
Sounds good to me. Lead the way.
And he leads you out of the club. And as you're out there, you see Jack walking back towards the club. And he gets to a car, an old Oldsmobile. He unlocks it and slides in the back seat, reaches over and grabs something out of the front seat and says, "Come on in, man. We're good back here."
Ooh, nice and cozy. And he climbs in the back seat.
And out of the bag, he pulls a joint.
Draven grins. He's kind of thinking, I'm going to have to pretend to smoke this to get this guy's favor, aren't I?
And he takes a big hit off it and passes it to you.
Crap. What would I have to roll to pretend to try and pretend that, or would I have to roll anything?
So you want to not smoke it but look like you're smoking it?
Yes.
I'd say
Well,
manipulation.
if I may,
Mhm.
if I may, last time, if I recall, you've already used Blush of Health, so that's still inactive because we're still technically in the same scene, right?
Yes.
That was last night. It's
Well-
a new night.
No.
Oh, okay.
I used
No,
it-
sorry.
No,
No,
he
he used it
activated
when
Blush of Health.
the individual
Oh, right, yeah.
referred
In the
to him as
bathroom.
cold. So technically, you are still very much capable of breathing.
Oh,
And how long have you been a kindred?
10 years.
yeah.
If you've been a kindred for 10 years, you would probably pretty easily know that you could shoot heroin and it wouldn't do a goddamn thing to you.
Fair point. Draven takes the joint, takes a good long pull, and leans back and just leans back, exhales, and passes it back.
Yeah, glad to see you're so chill, man. So, I really suck at this sort of thing. How do you want to, like, do this?
Don't worry about it, sweetheart. I got it all covered. He proceeds to kind of curl up towards the guy and kiss him gently and almost kiss him. Start gently at first, but then it becomes.
Hold
much
on
more,
one second. We do need to check something. What is your courage at?
Oh, my courage is 3.
Roll courage for me, please.
Yeah.
When you go to take the drag.
It should be only difficulty 3 or 4, so it shouldn't be too difficult, but...
You pass. That's all that matters.
Okay.
Yep.
So he's gonna start kissing him gently at first, and then it's gonna become more fervent and passionate. Um, Kissing his way down the guy's neck, eventually um, continuing down his torso, and he looks up, kind of gauging the reaction.
He's got a big smile on his face. He kind of leans back fully against the back seat of the car, so his hips slide out a little bit.
So he continues downward and unbuttons and unzips and goes down on him for, I'd say, maybe a good 5-10 minutes. Just waiting to see when he's close, at least.
Oh, you put your mouth on it and he came instantly.
Jamie just kind of smirks and doesn't swallow, but kind of lets it drip back down as he
There's nothing dripping out of your mouth.
Huh?
All you taste in your mouth is ash.
Oh. He pauses for a second, kind of like making this face and like blah blah blah, like there's some, like he knows it's off. When he looks up, um, he's just not sure what to say.
Dude, sorry, I don't normally come that quick. I was just so into it right now.
You, yeah, I noticed that, but tasted kind of funny.
Really, I make sure I eat asparagus and clam juice and onions and stuff.
He just looks absolutely appalled, knowing full well that's really not what you should be eating if you want it to taste good. Um, yeah. Well, um, here, let me just take another drag real quick here, and he reaches for the joint.
You need to roll courage again for me?
Yep.
You pass with flying colors. You take another drag.
And he exhales, letting the smoke fill the car before going back down and deciding to kind of tug the guy's pants down a little bit to expose more of his flesh,
Mm-hmm.
kissing it gently before taking a good bite.
Whoa, not so kinky. Oh. Oh.
And
And how much? What are you doing?
like, I'd say 2 blood points.
2? Okay. You take 2 blood points. And you are feeling really relaxed. Like, really relaxed. And then as you're pulling away after licking the wound, you notice that there's still a little bit of cum oozing out of his penis, and it looks just like normal, regular cum.
Mia looks at it. It's a little confused, just like, Huh, maybe that was a fluke. And he leans back against the he sits up and leans back. Uh, just absolutely in bliss. And stoned off his ass.
And Jack. You make it back into the club. You noticed Draven heading out with the guy to his car on your way in. And unfortunately, he disappeared for a moment. So we'll get back to him in a minute. Maximilian, what are you doing with your information you were given?
Well, Maximilian's been driving about. Not long afterwards, he ends up getting on the phone. There's sign on this. Hey, Deja, you on the line?
Yes, my child? What do you need?
I figured I regret to inform you that your pappy, my grandfather, might be having a bit of an issue. Does it name Marcus Giovanni mean anything to you?
Unfortunately.
Right, well, he's in town, and apparently has, this is some kind of concern, apparently. Bodies of those hunters we end up managing to put down. He's currently in London. Well, I can only imagine he's incredibly pissed.
Sounds like it. I will speak to Marcia about it immediately. You can hear her teeth clenched on the other side.
Alright. I told you I'd keep you informed. I'm sure you're going to end up sending me on an errand, but I need to know now. What are we getting ourselves into this time?
He raises the dead. We stopped him early last time. He brought 7 what used to be people with him. Do you know how many he has?
12. At least.
And these were the hunters, you said.
Aye,
Then they
that's
have
right.
weapons. Then they have the weapons to hurt us. That makes it doubly dangerous.
Oh, doubly stupid.
They are undyingly loyal to him.
I've no doubt about that, but seriously, well, you're telling me this fucker just raises up corpses, they dance his tune?
That is what the Giovanni and their necromancy do.
No, for fuck's sakes. You'll be pulling my fucking leg. Alright. Look, I've got a little bit more errands to end up running. Trying to end up keeping things on the level, but right now, seems to be running from one clusterfuck into another.
So it would seem.
Look, people end up getting out of there. Doesn't entail the furthering of a prince at this point. What we need is law and order, not stamping out fires right now. We're trying to end up plugging up a breaking dam with gum right now.
That it would seem. We will try to put in for a new vote. With everything that's been going on, it shouldn't be too surprising. We will see.
No, it shouldn't. Meantime, what you need?
Make sure you and your coterie are rested, fed.
Right.
I am sure we will be calling on you very soon.
Right. Look, Jean, I'm not gonna lie, I'm not so sure I'm cut out for this shit. Well, I'm brave face and all, but last one just rattled me. You're gonna tell me that it's gonna keep on going. I've no idea on how the hell you ended up here managing to stay in one piece this whole time.
By making sure I wasn't the one sitting with them.
Right. More meat in the grinder, I guess. I'll see what I can do. I just need to...
Lean on
Yeah.
your coterie. They will do the dirty work that you are unwilling to do yourself. They know you have done it and will do it, so they should not balk at you letting them carry some burden.
Well, it's our responsibility, innit?
To make sure that it gets done. Well, we don't have to carry out every little detail ourselves.
Alright. Take care, Ev and Dijon.
You'll be hearing from us soon, I'm sure.
I have no doubt about that. He hangs up the phone. Leader that leads from behind takes it behind. Fuck's sakes. I was off to another one of his little outings. He's got to keep feeding. It's what keeps him going, you see, right now. It's tough. Mostly because it seems like this shit doesn't end. But still, wheels within wheels. We all have our part to play. We're just hoping that at some point things get a little easier for us. But quickly, Maximilian's getting the impression it don't. Not ever.
And as these kindred feed and rest and the night wears on, elsewhere, a man talks to his new congregation. Many kindred from the city, Primogens who had gone missing, a number of other individuals, all of whom could have voted or can vote, and they stare at him almost blindly as he finishes his ritual and says, "This time, the city will be mine." And with that, this episode will end.